Transformation taking place at Denver's Clyfford. I'm going to start over. Clyfford, 3, 2, 1. Transformation taking place at Denver's Clyfford Still Museum, and it is making the art museum a more kid-friendly place. Clyfford Still, Art and the Young Mind, a new exhibition on view now. First of its kind exhibit that was actually created with input from kids across the Front Range. Joining us now to talk more about it are co-curators Bailey Plotchek and Nicole Cromartie. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So, all too often, art museums kind of thought of as like this stuffy place for adults only, but the whole point of this is really to change that. What did you do to make Clyfford Still a more kid-friendly place?
Well, we worked with a lot of kids. So, as you mentioned, we co-curated a show with young children from across the Front Range. Babies ages 6 months old to children 8 years old. Did everything for the exhibition, selecting artworks, designing how it would look on the walls, sharing their perspectives about the work so we can share that with our visitors. But that was just actually one piece of thinking about how to make the museum kid-friendly. We went through the museum with a couple of young children, as young as 4, to talk about just some of the things that we do in museums, the height of our paintings, the height of our front desk, our graphics, our interactive activities, and got feedback from kids on all of those things.
And you worked with kids from 6 months old to 8 years old. I mean, what did you notice about how kids react, to art at different ages?
I think kind of across the board with all of our young co-curators, we see them interacting with art with so much joy, enthusiasm. They have a lot of confidence in their interpretations of the art at the Clyfford Still Museum. It's really thrilling seeing the way that their eyes light up. The kinds of different things that they say about the artwork is really just pretty incredible stuff.
Clyfford Still is an abstract expressionist, and that's kind of a type of art some people think kids won't really relate to, and that's really not the case. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things we wanted to explore and hopefully dispel with this exhibition is that idea that abstraction is too obscure for young children to enjoy. And when it comes down to it, abstract expressionist artists really wanted to, instigate a pure emotional response with their art. They wanted to create something that would touch, the deepest, most intangible parts of what makes us human. And they used abstraction to do that. And as Nicole and I watched infants stare at and reach for these reproductions of stills, completely abstract paintings, it was just so clear that abstract expressionism succeeds because it's readily accessible to everyone, no matter your age, background, or knowledge base. We saw this come to life when preschoolers' eyes lit up at the sight of giant fields of color. And second graders talked about how colors reminded them of own personal stories. This art really is for everyone, especially children. And I think we all have a lot to learn about how to best approach abstract expressionism from kids.
Some parents might be a little scared to take their kids to an art museum. What would you say to convince them to come out and visit?
There are so many benefits to offering arts experiences to young children in a museum setting. It offers the perfect opportunity for families to talk about what you see and how we are all experiencing the world and how that may be different for everyone. This helps with emotional development, literacy, critical thinking skills. And it's also just a wonderful chance to do something different with your family that encourages conversation and offers exposure to different perspectives and modes of expression. This particular exhibition, like Nicole said, really emphasizes joy and that joy that we can gain from looking at art with one another. And I think that we could all use a little bit of that right now.
Speaking of joy, I'm looking at some of this video of you guys working with these kids. Looks like you had fun putting this together.
So much fun. Yeah.
Very cool. Is there anything else we're forgetting that you'd like to add?
Well, I think just piggybacking on what Bailey was saying about being an adult, bringing your young child to the museum, I think it's really important to remember that, you know, as an adult, you don't need to have any background knowledge about abstract expressionism. You don't need to have, you know, attended an art history class. Your child will lead you through this exhibition. They know what they like. They are ready to share with you what they think about it. So I would, you know, just encourage parents to let go about any sort of apprehensions that they have about experiencing art, and yeah, let their child take the lead. We have a lot of resources for families when they come to the museum. We have a great interactive space. We have tons of interactives in the exhibition, family guides, tactile books, so kids have something to touch while they're looking at the artwork. We have a lot of resources on how to support families, and we'd love to hear from caregivers what we can do better to support them and their children in the museum.
It looks like a great exhibit, and thank you, Bailey and Nicole, for telling us about this and spending a little time with us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
All right, well, Clyfford Still, Art and the Young Mind on view until August 7th at the Clyfford Still Museum in Denver.